Now this is cool. Our next speaker is a student, just like me. Students like Ian give me the inspiration to keep doing what I love. Presenting, singing, dancing, loving life. Ian has worked across the state of Iowa and beyond to bring the power of student voice alive through dedication and kindness. This is Ian.
Every day you try to rise above and let you down. If you left us with...
So she definitely was talking about herself, not me, because I can't sing or dance. We tried about an hour ago. But anyways, there's nothing really super special about me. I'm a kid. I go to Waukee High School. I guess if you ask the attendance lady, Ellen, I'm not at school very often, or should be more. But if you ask my math teacher, I turn things in late. Everyone does it. There's nothing, you know what I mean? It happens. There's nothing great about myself in general. It's what I believe in and the people I'm surrounded with. All of you today, I think, have some of the same messaging, and all of our speakers have the same message as well. The two things I believe in that I'm going to talk about today is putting other people first and then supporting their ideas, their positive ideas that they have come up with. That's all it really takes. That's all it takes to change the world. I believe that students deserve to be believed in, trusted. I need to trust their vote more, I think. And treated equally. The future of our schools, of our communities, of our state, of our nation are the students of today. And very often, hopefully not in Waukee, and I don't think in Waukee, but they are belittled. Their voice is shunned and quieted. They're told that they need to wait until they're older, until you have a degree, until you have a full-time job that you get paid 6 figures before you can make a difference, before your voice can matter. And that's not what I believe in. That's not what we believe in here. We believe that students are the most important part in our education system and the biggest part missing in our society and our local communities. But around here, we also believe in walking the talk. So what we've done is started an amazing organization that I'm proud to be the co-founder of with another student called the Iowa Student Learning Institute. We are revolutionizing Iowa's education through the power of student voice. And I'm so lucky that I get to work with amazing students and educators and national and global speakers as part of my daily job. In this video, hopefully it plays, I look very not happy on the side. But this, this is Ryan Burke. He is now freshman in college. He went to Bettendorf High School last year, and he just takes everything I just said and sums it up into one sentence.
I think it's important to note that the implications of giving a student a voice extend beyond the classroom.
The implications of giving a student a voice extend beyond the classroom, and that's what I really want to share about today. There's a lot of negative things happening in the world. We've been told today a lot to not focus on them, so I'm going to keep that message going. We are doing amazing things here in Iowa. In my job, where I get to talk to national people that have started organizations and speak and do this kind of work at a big level, they are looking to Iowa as leaders of student voice, of empowering young people and involving them in the community. So I have a couple examples of things that we've gotten to do just the past year, really, and just the great people that we've been able to meet. One of our projects that students have worked on is to get to know your ELL students. I specifically covered up my face with a W, in case you didn't notice. They are one of the most underserved and under-listened to minority groups in our schools and in our community. And it's not just the normal Spanish-speaking students that you might think. It's everyone. It's your Muslim students that come across these. It's Stephen that comes from Liberia that I'll talk about later, that because of how their school functioned, they didn't feel like they could have a voice, and they really didn't, because they couldn't communicate for the first couple months, but even after that, it was quieted. So we've worked to empower that. Stephen is on the left, and I'll talk about his project he's starting. We connected with him about a year or two ago. All those students are seniors at Valley High School, just locally here as well. Along with connecting with high school students, we've been able to connect with ELL youth students from across the state. I think they are from Denison, Storm Lake, and I'm forgetting another city, but anywho. I usually have brought their video and everything I do, and I usually drag someone else up on stage here, but Hannah was being a little stubborn this morning, so this is the first time I've ever done something by myself.
Hola. Minglava. Hola.
A goal I have faced is to get better in reading and math. My voice matters because it's strong and gives kindness to other people.
A goal I have is to be best at the trumpet.
A goal I have this year is to read more books.
Those elementary students have known way more in their life than they should for their age. They've gone through so many more things than any of us can imagine. Their parents don't live with them. They've been deported. Their brother serves in the military so that he wasn't. Just outstanding stories that they struggle through, and they still find their passion and can share it with other people and believe that their voice matters because of educators like yourselves that they interact with. So the high school students we work with are actually very empowered by the young students, which happens quite often. You can look at elementary teachers that same way too, with all their high energy. And these are the high school students, and they did a project at Valley. 90% of the normal student population had no idea what an ELL student even was, that they existed in their school and walked their hallways with them. So Stephen, being the amazing leader he is using his voice, started a project, and they are going advisory to advisory every week to do team building activities with his ELL class and showing them who they are and that they exist in their building and want to be involved and are not that different. There's nothing different about them. So some of their signs from the project they did of what they're demanding from their classmates to be treated equally. The IOI 5 is a group from Bettendorf. They're a student leadership group of middle school to high school, and they also do like advisory lessons. Jill and Laurel are the two girls on the left, and they have been outstanding supporters of student voice, always the first ones to be in a Twitter chat or to speak up in their teacher's class, who's smiling in the back there. Just recently, we connected with Keota High School in Southeast Iowa, and there are amazing girls there, Megan and Abby, who are looking to political candidates to bring their school back on the map because otherwise it will close next year because of the lack of funding the state's giving them. So they have, I don't remember, there's a Republican candidate that came earlier, but Hillary Clinton is in the schedule to do a community rally at their school in December sometime, all organized by students for students at their high school. And it's small town, rural Iowa, a little bit more maybe closed mindset of a place, and these girls are still believing in themselves and their message and thriving through all of that. So they've met her a couple times in Iowa City, but to bring her to their small town is amazing. Just a couple weeks ago, I met with other students from the Metro who are solving homelessness and poverty in Des Moines. They have a magazine called Blank Tales that is giving a voice to the homeless community because they're also an underserved minority, seeing a trend here, that doesn't get a voice and aren't helped. A big issue in that realm is evictions at the moment of the homeless camps. So they're publishing and sharing that when the city of Des Moines kicks out 300 people from a homeless camp, where are they going? How can you give them help? How can you feed them? How can you give them blankets? How can you welcome them into your churches for nights when you have no idea where they are because the city of Des Moines is displacing them? Meriden makes me smile every time. She is a third grader from Van Meter who, at one of our first events, started a blog in the auditorium. She's sitting in the front row, the most high energy person you could see. It'd be like Leslie is a third grader, I imagine. She's sitting in the front row asking her teacher that brought her there how to start a blog because she was too scared to speak up in like a breakout session with people, but she knew she could use the internet. to share her voice and her passions. And she has thousands of followers now from across the country on her blog. And there's her with a shirt and good old walkie sign. Taught her well. Stu Space is actually just launching in South Carolina. They're also another organization with a very similar mission to ours of giving students a voice and leadership opportunities in South Carolina. I don't know if you're familiar with the demographics of South Carolina, but they're interesting. There's a whole dead zone of schools that don't get any funding at all because it's based off of commercial property tax. So if rural Iowa based their school funding off of commercial property tax, that could be a struggle for a lot of them. So that's their major mission right now, to change that they've come together. And then actually just a couple days ago, pondered across these people and connected with them. It's always something new happening. They're in Council Bluffs that have another leadership conference as well, that their student council a couple years back just decided, what if we do something different and something big and involve other schools? So their student council in Lexington, I think, is a suburb of Council Bluffs, started this event to invite other schools into their district and say, hey, here's what we're doing, here's what we believe in. If you join our message, it'll grow. So just another great group. And then these guys are in Texas, and we helped them launch a month ago. So again, national, huge people looking to Iowa and the educators and the students in Iowa to do amazing things. They're in an urban district in Texas that is very condescending on students, I will say. And one of their instructional coaches has just decided that enough is enough and started his own group, and they do weekly chats at all different buildings in their district to share their voice and show their competence and build trust. And then even locally, again, at Dowling High School, student leadership in action taking place when something they believe in doesn't match the belief of their school, and they said something about it. They held a rally and a walkout last spring, standing for their beliefs about equal human rights, equal treatment of all people. And then we had them present at our event as well. So you may be wondering, what does it take? What does it take for people to think, wow, I can do something. I can rise up. I have a voice. And that's a great question. What it really takes is great educators. If you think about it, from a student's life, kindergarten through even college, it's the role models that they see in their classrooms every single day, practicing what they're preaching, hopefully, about being leaders in their communities, involving all their voices. That's where it starts. So I challenge you. There's people, there's students that are back in your classroom, the ones that are sitting back in the corner, maybe where those ungraded papers get tossed every now and then, and the other corner where the bookshelf is that no one returns the books to because they don't read them in the first place. That's where those students are that need to be heard. They're the voices that need to be heard. There's students that are sitting in your classroom that have never been told that their voice matters. Whether it's by their parents or another teacher, hopefully not, but whoever it was that don't believe in themselves. I'm asking you, it's your job to believe in them and to tell them that their voice does matter and their one needs to be heard. There's students sitting in your classroom that have amazing talents that just aren't being unleashed in a school environment. They aren't good at sports. They don't want to be in art club. They're not good at music. But if you put them out in the community, they are the leaders of their jobs. They're the head volunteers at the animal shelter. They're the people that are making a difference. They're the voices that matter that you should involve. So I'm asking, student voice is not a revolution by any means of we're firing the principal and taking all the teachers out. No more of that. It's an equal say of bringing everyone onto the same playing field of student empowerment and teachers listening and sharing that message. I think every school should be built around the idea of putting students first, their ideas first, their initiative first, and their leadership first. Just imagine what would happen if every school is built around what's best for the student and putting them first. Amazing things are happening, and they will continue to happen as long as we believe in this message. If we can believe that putting other students first and supporting their ideas is the most important thing that we can do as educators, we'll continue to do great. That's all it takes. Trust me. Thank you.